Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I'm bringing to you guys is the very first episode of my brand new series here on YouTube, which I'm going to be starting, which is going to be Myth Busting in New World. Now, in this series, what I'm going to be doing is going over things that players believe are true or think could be true. Some people believe, or not many people believe, but they actually are true, and test out whether something is accurate or not. So, for example, in today's episode, we're going to go over things like, can you get additional rolls on your daily crafts like your Asmodeum and such like that, or is it impossible? And the aim of this series is going to be to clear up some myths, clear up some misinformation, but also to have a bit of a laugh with it and clear up some funny stuff around the world of Eternum as well. Now, what I've done to prepare for this episode is, of course, asked my community over in my Discord, which is linked in the description below if you do want to join and get involved in the next episode of this video, as I will be making these very, very regularly, as it is quite fun to film. So if you guys want to get involved with that, like I said, the link will be in the description below. Make sure you head over and join in there and submit any myths that you think I should bust on the next episode. Also, if you are new to the channel, please do make sure that you drop in a subscribe down below, as we are pushing very, very close to our next goal of 13,000 subscribers. If you could help me out and support me in doing that, that would be absolutely amazing. And without further ado, let's jump into this one. So, for those of you that did see yesterday's upload, this is an edited version or an updated version, because actually after watching it back, a lot of you pointed out a few of my own myths that I'd included in the video, stuff I actually didn't know. So you guys have confirmed that for me, re-clarified in a couple of things, and I've actually learned some stuff. So what I've done here is re-edited the video for you guys so that you can be more accurate with it, and to make sure that all the information is up to date, and also to clarify on this first point, because a few people didn't understand it yesterday. So I'm going to go in depth with that as well to make sure all the information here is good. Looks like the second half of the video was pretty much bang on, so I can leave that as it is. But of course, do drop me any myths you've got down below in the comments as well, and let me know how you think to this second part. So the first one here, we've got, can you get double or extra chance rolls on your dailies? So to bust this myth or not, it's very, very simple. All we need to do is head over to one of the crafting stations. We're going to look at Asmodeum, because Asmodeum is kind of the thing most people have got first, or will have first when they do get the trade skills up, as smelting is generally something you need for pretty much every trade skill. If we go on to this one here, it's a fairly easy fix. You look at the side here and it says 0% chance to craft additional items. So that means you cannot get additional dailies. And to prove this, we will also check on the other daily ones to show you guys that it's not just the Asmodeum, it is all of them. So on the glittering ebony here as well, you can see that that is a 0% chance. We then run over here to the loom and have a look at this one. This is also Phoenix Weave, a 0% chance to craft additional. And then finally on the tannery here, the runic leather is also 0%. Now on the side of the daily craftable items, although there is no base rates to get extra procs, one thing you can do is of course use these accumulation sets. Now this is the tanner one, for example. I don't have the full set, I am missing the legs, but as you can see it is a plus 2% yield when leatherworking. So if we go ahead and throw these ones on, and you guys will remember that before this was a 0% chance, it is a full 10% chance if you have the pants as well. Currently I'm missing those, but as you can see it is 8% chance, and this costs me roughly about 1,000 gold for those 4 pieces, so maybe let's say 1.5k for the full set. And to potentially get extra of your daily crafts per day is really, really worth it. Check the prices on your server for the sets, of course, because, you know, sometimes they can be pretty extortionate. But if we go ahead and click craft on here, and we'll see we actually do get an additional one there. This is really, really good, and something that you should definitely take advantage of. And thank you to yesterday's comments for pointing that out to me, because, of course, that is an amazing tip. What is worth noting as a side note here then, though, is that you can actually get additional daily craft items, if you like, for your Asmodeum, runic leather and such, through your trade skill Aptitude caches. So once you get a skill to level 200, say for example here, leatherworking, once you get this bar all the way up to the top, I'm about halfway, it's blocking the camera a little bit. Once you get that all the way back up to the top, every third, there's little markers like this one here, then another one just under the camera and one back at the top. Each of these do have a chance to drop you, for example, with the leatherworking one, runic leather, as you can see there. So there is a chance that you can go ahead and get that one as well. Now the next one here is going to be very, very similar on the same strain. It's actually going to be that you can get multiple of the legendary crafts. So what I mean by legendary crafts is your time gated ones again, but it's the legendary components that you put into, say for example, the Asmodeum or whichever the daily craft is. And with this one, this is actually true. At level 200 you have a flat 20% chance to craft additional items, so you are able to potentially get extra ones when you craft cinnabar or tovium or whatever the respective one is for that work area. But what I would advise with this is it's very expensive, particularly orichalcum on our server is selling for around about 2 to 3 gold each for the ore. So obviously 250 is going to cost you near on 1,000 per, and they are much cheaper to just buy straight out. But if you are going to craft it for whatever reason, you do have a chance to get more. So if on your server the prices go lower and it's cheaper to buy the materials and then craft it, if you do 10, technically you've got a chance to get an extra 1 or 2 along the way there every time you do 10, so 20% is pretty decent. You could also run the sets, which give you additional increase a chance of getting extras when you do craft, so like the smelting set for example, and this does affect it somewhat, but I'm not sure to what extent with the daily crafts like the cinnabar and the tovium on the smelter this will actually help, but it can't harm to give it a try. So maybe that could be a way on your server of making some money, but like I say, on mine is very expensive. Now another one here, we're doing a lot in the smelter today, but this is actually going to be material conversion, and there's sort of 2 in 1 here. It's going to be that you can convert any material into any other material, so any reagent into any other one, and you can make money from doing this. So first of all, you can see here that to make flux, it can be any other one, but it needs to be a tier 5. You can't use the lower tiers in order to get a tier 5, which obviously makes sense. But providing that you have, of course, the Masterwork Material Converter, which is for the tier 5 one, it's available from your faction vendor. They will sell you that, and you can craft any other tier 5 reagent into the one you want. So, for example, I've got 1500 solvent here. I could put this in, convert them, and if I click accept, it will go over and give me a total of 660 obsidian flux, which is actually quite a lot. And if we go back down here and see how much of that it took about just over 1,000. So it does cost a 20 for 15 back. You can see here that you'll get times 15, so you lose out on 5 every time you do it. But if there's something that you do have a stockpile of, then that is very worth it. Now guys, when we are looking at these conversions, one thing you have to be really careful of is, of course, the tax down here. And we're at 1% tax on crafting, so this is not even high tax, this is regular tax. And it is 14.25 coins each, so you really have to make sure that you're going to be making a profit from this. And to be quite honest, I thought I was making a profit, and actually if we go and have a look here, wire weave is going to be selling for around about 0.04 each. Even if I put that into flux, which is the most expensive one right now, that is only going for around 75-ish coins more, or 0.75 coins rather more, which means that you're paying a premium on tax and absolutely losing money. So make sure you don't miss out on this trick. I actually fell into this trick myself, so I thought it was really important to update and bring you guys that bit of information, because you don't want to fall into that one. So do make sure that you're not using those material converters to make money. It's a bad idea. Now, the next one we're going to be looking at here is, can you get additional gems when you are cutting? And the straight answer to that is yes, you can. As you can see, I'm currently at a 16% chance to craft additional, but I am only level 160 in stone cutting, which does mean if I got this to 200, you would, of course, get that 20% base value. Again, with this, you can add your set on top of this to potentially get more. And, of course, this is pretty good because a 20% chance to get an extra tier 5 cut gem, particularly when you're doing some of the more popular ones, especially with these mutated expeditions coming up pretty soon. This could be pretty clutch, and so being able to craft your own ones, as well as I keep nattering on about getting your level up to 200 in stone cutting. As you can see, I'm getting there with mine. It is going to be worth it because you're going to be able to get the double chances on gems, or 20% chances for double on gems. And of course, you will be able to make your own runestones as well, which is really good. Runestones, as you can see, are an item you can get here. These have a 0% chance to craft additionals, like the other dailies on, of course, your smelter and such. And they do have a lockout of 10 per day, so that is a maximum craft. And as you can see on my server, the runestones are selling for 155 each at the moment, and that's the cheapest ones, and they go up pretty substantially and pretty quickly after that price, where there's only 11, then there's 10, then there's 1, and then 160, and so on and so forth. And once this new mutated expedition patch does drop, you will need your runestones to craft those new ones, so you're certainly going to want to get onto that one. Now, the next thing here is that some items are only craftable at level 200 of a given skill. Now, this one is actually true. There's certain items that you guys can see on the list here, such as the Yolkathere, which you do actually need the parts for to be able to see, but these are exclusive to level 200 in weaponsmithing. And there's the same counterparts for engineering, for arcana, and some armorsmithing ones as well. Now, these might not show up on your list. For example, I've got the scaling powder in my inventory here, which makes this one show up. There is also a weapon called called the Dark Sky, which you'll see in my inventory here. And this one, again, is something which is only craftable when you have the legendary component in your inventory and the required level of weaponsmithing in this case, or the required skill. Now this means there is certain things that you can only craft at level 200, but also with this I would argue there's only certain things like, for example, the Orichalcum Great Axe. It says level 150, but if I put on a full set, I've got my full set of trophies up and I eat food, then there's only level 590 to 600 which I can craft at the maximum level. And then of course with the town buff on as well to give you the extra 5, it's 595 to 600, which can only be accessed by max weaponsmithers at level 200, with of course the full set, the jewelry, the trophies and the buff as well. So yes, there is certain things that can only be accessed by max level crafters, and that is why you want to push them, and it is really, really good when you do get there. It makes a huge difference to gameplay and crafting in general. The next one here is going to be that the Aptitude reward caches get better with the higher levels. Well, yes, technically they do, but only within the one level itself. So the first cache is the least good of the three. It can still include some very, very good items, such as your epic daily craft materials, components, craft mods, etc., and also recipes and schematics. The second one is slightly better and has an increased chance to give you those in higher amounts. And the third one is of course the best, with the most chance to give you those components and recipes and schematics, and the most amount of Asmodeum, for example, in smelting, or whichever resource is related to that skill. So technically they do get better, but as far as I'm aware, we don't get better ones going up +1, +2, anywhere from that to +23. You're going to get roughly the same amount of rewards for the time being. So this one's kind of busted, but it's also kind of not, because we have heard some talk on the forums that as we progress further and to later levels in the future, as you will notice from the trade skill aptitude caches, sometimes you get the 3-star ones when you get to that third level, but I've never seen a 4-star one, and I'm pretty sure they're not in the game yet from the community feedback I've seen. The rumour is that they will be coming in, so the higher up you get in the levels, +5, +10, +20, etc., you will have a better chance at obtaining a 4-star box on your third tick of the level instead of the 3-star one, which will of course give you extra items, loads more stuff, and a much higher chance at those better items as well. So that should be really exciting to see it coming. For now, no. In the future, potentially. So I'll keep you guys updated on that one. The one thing to note with this one, I actually haven't got my furnishing to level 200, but a lot of people say that the second one is better, as that does have the ability to have things like the stacked decking, loads of epic components for trophies, whereas the actual tier 3 cache for these doesn't. So do bear that in mind if you're going for furnishing. The second one could be better than the third one, but of course you'll need to do all of them in order to get back to the second one anyway, so just see what you get as you're going along there. Now, the final thing that I want to cover in today's myth-busting episode is going to be the chance to get additional gypsum orbs if you have more than the required amount of gypsum per day. So some people have been saying, if you've got, for example, I've got 7 out of 3 diamond gypsum here. Yes, I skipped a day specifically for the purposes of this video, but as you guys will see, if I craft 1, that will give me the gypsum orb right there, but it will now be greyed out, and I have to wait 22 hours to be able to craft another one, despite having 4 out of 3 for the next one, so clearly being able to do it. So you can't do that if you do miss a day with these gypsum orbs. That is done for you, so make sure that you're doing them daily when you have the materials, so that you can get the cooldowns going as soon as possible. You don't want to miss out on these, particularly with the new expertise coming out very, very shortly. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the very first episode of my myth busting series here on New World. If you guys have any suggestions of myths you would like to see me bust in the future, I've got a good list of things that I'm going to cover in the future episodes, but I would love to have your guys' input. Anything you'd like me to test or try, do drop it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get through as many of these as I possibly can. Also, make sure you do drop me a like if you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more episodes in the series, as this is quite an original idea. I've not seen anybody else do it, so let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this video as well. Other than that, like I said at the beginning, if you're new to the channel, please do make sure you drop me a subscribe. I do upload New World content every single day, and I would love to have you guys here as part of my channel community. And other than that, guys, as always, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you again tomorrow with another upload. Take care, guys, and peace.